Hi, friends. I'm Katie.
And I'm Lauren, and welcome to Okay, but Did You Know? A podcast where we talk about the TV and media that we love with a friend who's never seen it before.
Today, we're recapping and chatting about Bob's Burgers, Season 6, Episode 3, The Hauntening, and Episode 4, Gayle Makin Bob Sled. We always start off with our synopsis, so here is The Hauntening. It's Halloween in Bob's Burgers again. Bob and Linda are excited to take the kids to a haunted house they planned. Louise wants nothing more than to be scared, but doesn't believe it will ever happen. The parents' scares don't scare the kids in the slightest, so Elise gets her siblings to help her scare the parents. After they successfully scare the parents, they find out the car has a flat tire and they don't have a spare. There's no reception, the sun is set, and there's a creepy man with gardening shears spooking the Belchers. Strange noises are heard and the lights suddenly shut off, and the Belchers are stuck until the tow truck shows up. Scary noises and the creepy guy outside forces the Belchers to try and run away, where they end up climbing out onto the roof. With a ring of fire and supposed cult members surrounding the house, Louise is officially scared. It turns out the Belchers were attempting to give Louise her wish to finally be scared, and they succeeded. And as always, we start off with our puns. And yay,
Yes.
Halloween!
Halloween.
I love
So
these.
we have Blood Bath and Beyond red bathroom products, which is
I love
clever,
that. I
and
love it.
not to be confused with The Simpsons Blood Bath and Beyond, which was a gun store.
Yes, exactly.
And I did actually find the screenshot. I'll send it to you to put on Instagram if you want, because
Gladly.
it's not to be confused, but
Not
that's
to be
still
confused.
one of the best puns that show ever came up with. And the last mouse on the left, pest control.
And if you actually look closely, I have the picture in my notes. I can send it to you if you really want to look at it. A skeleton appears reflected on the window as opposed to Jimmy Pesto.
Oh, okay. I like
Because
that.
usually you can see Jimmy Pesto in the reflection.
Yes.
And we have one burger.
A single burger. It was the Breaking Radish burger. Comes with a side of radish.
And this was a play on Breaking Bad.
I figured.
This so the coolest thing I think about this is the episode's table read took place on October 31st, 2014.
Oh, nice.
You know how much fun that had to be to do the table read on Halloween? This episode aired at 9 p.m. as opposed to the usual 7:30 time slot that the episodes aired at the time. Most likely so that the NFL games would not interfere with the scheduling, so that the Halloween episode would premiere on Halloween.
That makes sense.
We have so many issues. I've told you before, the football schedule messes with Bob's Burgers constantly. And I'm really curious to see how they're going to deal with it this year, because we did not get our holiday episodes last season. And so this next season that's about to start as we're recording this, I'm like, please give us our holiday episodes when we're actually supposed to be seeing them. Linda mispronouncing Bobenstein as Bobenstein may be a reference to Young Frankenstein, where the lead character, Dr. Frederick Frankenstein, insists that his name is pronounced Frankenstein.
Yes, Dr. Frankenstein.
Tomy, a car towing business Bob picks out from the 90s phone book, is a reference to the 90s group Tony.
Okay.
And then on December 1st, 2015, it was announced that this episode, Stephen Davis and Kelvin Yu had been nominated for the Annie Award for Outstanding Achievement Writing in an Animated TV Show.
Nice.
They later did actually win the award.
Okay.
So lots of little fun things about this, but we love a good holiday episode. And I literally just started off with Halloween episode. Let's go. Because I love the Halloween episodes so much. I really relate to Louise in this because I grew up that kid. Like, it was hard to scare me with things like this because I was like, I can tell it's fake. To the point that while I was in high school, I volunteered in our haunted house that the fire department ran.
I remember you saying this. I wrote down, I see this episode coming with some haunted house scare actor stories from Katie.
I've got a picture somewhere deep in the internet of me sitting in a coffin.
Okay.
They're really comfortable.
Oh yeah, I believe that's the
I've talked about
that's the title of one of our episodes, I think, is Did You Know Coffins Are Comfortable?
It is.
I'm pretty sure.
That's where I got a really bad head injury though.
Yeah.
So haunted houses are fun, but you got to do them right. But you also can't do them too much.
Yeah.
Like, you can't go too far.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a happy medium. There was one year I went to the Six Flags in Atlanta where they have their Fright Fest, and I love it. I hope we get to go this year because I love roller coasters because adrenaline, and they make a lot of their different areas into actual haunted houses. So if you get the pass to do it, You get to go around to all the different haunted houses within the park.
Nice.
You get to bright everything at night. Tons of Halloween decorations everywhere. It's
Mm-hmm.
so much fun. The weirdest one I think I was ever in, they didn't really scare me,
Mm-hmm.
but they did like an alien one,
Okay.
where there were lots of blow up things. So you had to like force yourself through like airbags
Okay.
almost to get through. It was very
Yeah.
interesting. I really hope that I get to go this year because I have not been in so long.
Yeah. I have never actually done a haunted house, like not officially. Like I did an escape room that was like kind of haunted house themed. I did a couple of rooms there
Mm-hmm.
because it was like the theme of the whole haunted house, with the exception of a few of their rooms, was more along the lines of like it's kind of like you're on a farm that like a
Yeah.
cult ran, and so like there's like stuff there. So it was spooky, but it wasn't like full on haunted house. But like I would go almost like one of those things like Not Scary Farms kind of thing that they do. Mainly because I mean I've seen the videos of like Bobbins and the Clown. That actor that does it is phenomenal. She's so good.
Mm-hmm.
But like also because they have those things that's like that signals to the actors like please don't jump out at me.
It's we did one escape room at one point too. It was like a murder mystery,
Mm-hmm.
but to the point they had like fake severed
Yeah.
limbs that dropped down
Oof.
from the ceiling. It was so much fun.
No, so
I loved it.
my thing is, I when it comes to like horror movies or thrillers, whatever, I don't like jump scares. That's my thing. Is like
Yeah.
I'm good with a psychological thriller of like you never know what's happening here, or like the way that thrillers are in a lot of thriller books that I've read, where like you're watching something unfold as you're reading the story, you're learning things. I like that, and there's a distinct difference. I'm not a big fan of whodunits. Like that
Mm-hmm.
just kind of doesn't like someone's dead at the beginning of the book, and now the whole book is figuring out who did it. Like I don't care about that. But like the one thriller that I've read, one of the thrillers that I read that I really really enjoyed was one where like something happened. We're hearing the
Yeah.
podcast that's about the thing that you're reading, so something does happen, but you're spending the whole book learning about these characters as one of them unravels, and then she does something, and then you're like, I don't. Who do we believe now? Because I don't know. It's because the book is
Mm-hmm.
called None of This Is True. I think. Yeah, I believe it's the name of the book I'm thinking of.
Okay.
I can't see it on my shelf because it's. I'm pretty sure that's the name of the book. Here's your Huluing for the week.
See,
Yes,
Steven's
none of
kind of
this is
saying
true.
he prefers
Yeah,
psychological thrillers to
that's
horror.
what I prefer.
I think I am starting to lean towards more thrillers because I'm also not a huge fan of jump scares. Like some of them are really good.
Yeah.
There's one in Haunting of Hill House
Mm-hmm.
that is actually more emotional than it is
Okay.
scary. Like you jump because it's a jump scare, but then you realize what the jump scare is and you're just like, "Oh my god," and it
Gotcha.
kind of hits at the
Okay.
heartstrings. If you can deal with the horror aspect of Haunting of Hill House, it is probably one of the best horror shows I've ever
Okay.
watched. Hill House and Bly Manor are both
I
amazing,
started Bly
and
Manor.
both of them have sapphic
Gotcha.
characters, like main characters.
I never
So
finished
highly,
Bly Manor.
highly recommend. I think you got to watch Haunting of Hill House before you
Mm-hmm.
watch Bly
Yeah.
for it to be as good.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't know
Fair.
why. There's something about though that's the order that they were
Yeah.
made. Because I forget the guy's name. He's got his own like universe of horror movies and shows,
Blumhouse.
and he specifically, what is his name? No, it's a specific guy. Because he's made a lot of movies as well. Because they call it. Okay, hold on. Because ironically, the sapphic character in um the Hill House and in Bly Manor, is it the one in Bly Manor? No, just Hill House, is married to him.
Mm.
Oh, what was his name? Mike
Oh,
Flanagan. They
okay.
call it the Flaniverse.
Gotcha.
Um, but he's done because I remember rating each one. I finally watched all of his
Mm-hmm.
shows, and so you've got Haunting of Hill House, Fall of the House of Usher, Bly Manor, Midnight Club, Midnight
And the
Mass,
mom from Spy Kids is in a
all of
lot of them.
those. She is, and horror is her genre. Oh my god, she does a phenomenal
I
job.
couldn't tell you her
in
name,
horror.
but she's the mom from Spy Kids.
Her name is, what is her name? I knew it before. Seriously, though, she should just keep doing horror. She has done Carla Gugino.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god, but Hill House is I think the best one out of all of
Mm-hmm.
them.
Okay.
But he's done a lot of like Doctor Sleep and other movies as well.
Mm-hmm.
I did like this episode because it was very much like you're in it.
Yeah.
Like you don't realize it's what it is until you get to a certain point. and I love it so much.
I will say, let me see my notes because I took a lot of chaos notes in this one.
I wrote down almost all lines, I
I wrote
think.
down quite a bit of lines as well, but I was like, where did I figured it out at some point. I wrote down. Oh, so after the kids scare Bob and Linda, I just wrote, so do
Hmm.
Bob and Linda have a secret scary thing left for the end? It's like, oh yes, yes they do. Like
They do.
basically halfway through the episode, I figured out all of this was a ruse to really scare Louise.
Oh, you figured it out? That's awesome.
Basically, yeah, I would say probably yeah. After they jumped out with the bald caps, I'm like, there's more here. This isn't. They're not
Hmm.
actually looking at any different. Now it's a case of like, how far are they going to go with this? Was I guess most of the episode, but I would say yeah. About by the time the kids decided to scare Bob and Linda, I was like, this is intentionally bad because they're saving something else for the end. Okay,
Yeah. And they did a great job
yeah,
at
I
all
think
of it,
so.
though, because obviously it does scare Louise. Because I love starting off when she's explaining how even like haunted houses just don't do it
Yeah,
for her, and she just goes, "Sir, you're making chainsaw noises with your mouth. Sorry." Yeah,
yeah.
like it's so funny.
Well, when Mort tries to scare her, he's like, "Can I trouble you for another side of pickles?" Like he tried to do that, and I wrote down because from the SpongeBob episode where they were using pickles as souls, I've come for your pickle.
Oh my god. Mom, angel hair? What? It's all we had. It's just the least scary pasta. It's in the
Yeah,
name.
and also that thing of like the spaghetti as intestines or brain, whatever, really only works if it's like pitch black. You
Honestly.
can't have
And like
any light.
leaving, not even having the grapes
Yeah,
at all in the box. Because peeled grapes supposedly feel like eyeballs.
I've been told.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
No, not at all. All four of these are spares. Are you talking about us?
I love that one. Dad's scared of failure. Where do we find some of that? Let's look in the cupboards.
Bob was just like, "Oh, it's probably just a murderer. Like it's probably just a murderer. Is that's your way of calming down your family?"
Of course, but then you have just a fun family trip to the basement to get killed. Like,
Jeez, is this what Burning Man is like? Because I don't like it.
and I really did love the wind is coming up the
Yeah.
stairs.
The only way
Oh
down is
man.
down.
Like the lines were
Yeah.
phenomenal in this episode because it's not always 100%
Yeah.
going to be like great lines, but this one really does a really great job. And this just truly shows support your kids no matter what they enjoy.
Yeah. Like, because I definitely understand. Like, she's a kid that, like, you think would, like, really enjoy, like, she clearly likes being scared. She was so excited once she, like, figured out what everything was. But, like, I'm with her that, like, haunted houses are, I mean, like, at least the ones that they've probably been going to are pretty
Hmm.
predictable. But from the very beginning, I was like, I hate motion sensor Halloween decorations so
Yeah.
much. Like, that witch thing that was scary. I mean, yes, it's Teddy, but, like, I hate those things so much. Like, people, like, will turn them on, like, in Target and Michael's, whatever. I'm like, just to annoy people. I'm like, no, please. Anything but these.
The only place that is okay is in Spirit Halloween
Yep.
because it's meant to be there. Like
Exactly.
it's kind of the point when you go in so you can see what it does
Hmm.
before you buy
Yeah.
it because that's the whole point of the store.
Yeah. I wrote down, I love that the kids think they bought the house as if they could buy a house. Which isn't
Like there's
nice.
no way y'all could
It's
afford
not
that.
nice, but like I was like, did they rent a house just to haunt it? Like what like for a while I was like, how do you get access to this house? And then
They have a
they
mort.
have a mort. It is in fact his mother's house. And towards the very end when she like asked if the fire was gonna like destroy her lawn, he went, it's a non-burning fire.
Like I really love that everyone joined into this. I love how they're also saying they're like, yeah, it was a lot of
He has a lot of
emails.
emails. I can imagine this took a lot of coordination when it comes
Oh
to
yeah.
how to best scare Louise, especially which involves Linda just continuing to wear the bald cap the entire time.
I forgot I had it
It's
on.
comfortable.
I don't know how a bald cap is comfortable.
I've never worn one, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, me either. I'm good. There's too much hair going on
Yeah,
for me to even attempt
no,
that.
I'm good. I just wrote down. I kept writing down. Where did they get this house? Just over and over and
You
over
did. You
again.
didn't. You didn't think of like the. Oh wait, no. This is when they mentioned that. Oh wait, like we got this because of Mort. his customers are all dead.
No,
That didn't do it for
no,
you.
it
You're like,
didn't.
no, I don't believe that.
At that point, I had kind of already decided that all of it was a ruse. Basically, that
That's a
I
good
would say
point.
like pretty much from before, basically right before the tire thing happened, I was like, this is all planned. I don't know how, but this is all planned.
Was it like a good thing though that you were just like, okay, this is actually really
Oh yeah, I was
funny
proud of
watching
myself.
them?
I was very proud of myself that I figured that out. And like, and it was
Nice.
very well crafted, and it was like the way that it was handled with the like with Gene and Tina. I didn't peg Gene and Tina being involved at first, so
Right?
that one was more of like I just knew that that Bob and Linda were clearly doing some things. I'm like, this is like that's what you expect out of a cartoon like this. I feel like it's like this
Mm-hmm.
was that, but the old man with the clippers at the end of the driveway. I was like, the old man's like the hash slinging slasher, and then I wrote down the mash pinging, the trash singing, like the line from SpongeBob. And then it turned out he was just Mort's mom's boyfriend.
Just, I mean, we all find love, and just Teddy being Teddy.
Teddy is Teddy. That's all we can say.
Teddy is always Teddy.
But you know, he because what was he saying about? Oh, he cut the brake lines too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how does that help if they can't even drive the car at all? Why does cutting the brake lines do anything?
Like, why Teddy? Why?
Like he's a handyman. He should think things
Mm-hmm.
through.
It's also
It
Teddy.
is also Teddy. There's that, but it was basements are extremely scary. Like
No, yeah,
Bob,
basements are scary.
Bob, no, don't go down to the scary dark basement.
You have to kind of. I feel like that's a need though. If you're in a haunted house, I guess
Yeah,
a basement makes
no, it
sense.
does. Oh, I wrote down right above that. Old man is working for them. I'm assuming. So I had pegged well, and maybe I would say about halfway into the episode.
That's not bad though. Like I think that's a pretty good time to pick up on
Yeah,
that.
I think so. And then again, it kind of changes the expectation of like it changes the surprise to anticipation of the
Mm-hmm.
reveal, which isn't a different experience, but not a bad experience. It's just different than I guess whatever the intention is.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you when I picked up on it
Hmm.
when I first
Yeah.
watched it because it's season 6.
Yeah.
I've been watching this show for a really long time. I don't know what my reaction was. It's been too long.
Yeah. Like I've gotten that question before. Like, what's like the most like surprising thing from Once Upon a Time? And I'm like, I think y'all forget I watched these early episodes for the first time over a decade ago. I couldn't tell you.
I don't
Like in
remember.
hindsight they all make a lot of sense, but like I was like, I don't know, Red being the wolf, let's go with that because that one sounds surprising. But I was like, I got
Yeah, no, I think that one. Yeah, I could say
that's a
Red
good
being the wolf was a good
at this
twist.
point. I'm waiting to see if you can figure out Pan's situation before we get to the reveal,
I feel like I'm so annoyed with it that I won't.
because there are hints all over the place.
Yeah, there are like obviously he knew. Okay, we won't
We won't
get
get
into
to that
that,
now,
but
but
like there
still, but
are.
yeah, but like I'm like waiting for you to figure it out. But to be fair, we only have 2 episodes before you get the answer. So
And at that point too, I'm just so annoyed with the
yeah,
storyline. I'm not trying to dig as deep as I usually do with the show.
exactly.
I don't actually have any other notes.
Hmm.
I'm just really enjoying how much you seem to enjoy this
Yeah,
episode.
I seem
So on that
I seem
note,
to like the Halloween episodes
yeah. What
usually.
did you rate this?
So this one got tens for plot and for character. It was good
Mhm.
chaos. I enjoyed the reveal. Proved myself right. It got an 8 for personal just because I'm not the biggest fan of jump scares. So this episode was a lot of jump scares. So it gets a 28 out of 30. Solid score.
I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. That's
Hmm.
awesome. It's a I mean, obviously this is a 30
I had a
for
feeling.
me. This is everything I love in a Bob's Burgers. Like it's everything I love in Bob's Burgers, but
And
making
horror.
it horror.
Yeah.
Like if this wasn't a 30, something's wrong. Cuz not every Halloween episode is going to be a 30 for me.
Yeah.
There is one Halloween episode specifically that just annoys me.
Well, I think so far of this was what the 4th Halloween episode we've had,
I think so.
because I'm
Third?
pretty no,
When did they
it's
start them?
oh, maybe no, it's definitely the 4th because I'm thinking I've
Okay.
given 2 of the 3 that we've had. I've given 2 of them 30s. One of them got whatever score it got. It was that the one. It was Fortnite. So this one
Yeah,
didn't
you
get a
didn't like
30,
that one.
but no, but full bars and
What's the other one? I should know this.
the Tina's boyfriend was the ghost in a box. I can't remember the title of it.
Oh, yeah. We're just gonna
Those
call
both
that
got
Ghost in a Box right now.
yeah those. Those both got 30s. This got a 28. So like, and then the Fortnite got whatever Fortnite got, because that one was like, it's too close to home. I don't like it. Like it's not too close to home, but it's like it's too realistic. And also, like, again, I stand by with that one. The chaos of that one didn't need to be a Halloween episode. That
Mm-hmm.
same kind of chaos plot could have been put in any other episode. It's just the fact of like they just put it in a Halloween episode.
Yeah.
Like this kind
I
of
think
chaos can only come with a Halloween episode.
someone recently shared, like, I think today, um, the list of all of the Bob's Burgers episodes
Okay.
online, and I'm trying to remember who posted it. There's another Bob's Burgers uh site, and I can't remember who did it.
Ooh.
Maybe it's this one. It's this one. Okay, so as of right now, we have, yeah, so it's Full Ballers, Fortnite, Tina and the Real Ghost. You just did the Hauntening. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 more that you'll get to
Mhm.
see
Okay.
until, of course, more are made.
Yeah.
I think you'll like these though, except for season 10.
Okay. Good to know.
Season 10 makes me angry, and if any listeners have seen that episode, you know why. I think that was like one of the least liked episodes of Bob's Burgers ever.
Okay.
You ready for Gayle Makin Bob Sled?
I am.
I'm not surprised. It's Thanksgiving. Linda goes to leave to get Gail since she can't drive at the moment. Bob insists on being the one to go get her since Linda isn't the best at driving in the snow. Bob's car gets stuck in the snow and they have to walk all the way back to the Belchers' home. Since Gail can't walk, they use a blow up pool and Bob pulls her through the snow in it. Linda and the kids are left in charge of the food, having no idea of how to actually cook Bob's Thanksgiving dishes. Gail lets Mr. Business out of his box and he escapes. Bob and Gail end up curled up in the snow together and have a heart to heart, but then Bob finds out that Gail is faking her injury. He finds Mr. Business in a tree while looking for Gail and saves him. Gail finds Bob as he falls out of a tree. Gail pulls Bob back to the Belcher home after he hurts his back, and they sit down to Thanksgiving dinner. They quickly realize the food is inedible. And we always start off with our puns. Vacant storefront.
Maxi Pad's large apartment rentals.
That's a choice.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that one.
Pest control truck.
The good, the bad, and the bugly pest control. That's a good one.
That's a good one. This episode is a tie. Blah blah blah. I can speak. I wrote these things.
It's fine. We've been talking for a while.
The episode's title is a play on Jamaican bobsled and is a reference to the Jamaican national bobsled team, which competed in the 1988 Winter Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
This, of course, was loosely depicted in the 1993 movie Cool Runnings, which
Yes,
is a classic from our generation. I love Cool Runnings. It is such a good movie. A total of 3.13 million households watched this episode, making it the most watched episode in season 6 and the only season 6 episode to achieve more than 3 million views.
Nice.
So indie band The National recorded a version of Linda's It's Thanksgiving for Everybody song, but the release was canceled in the wake of the terrorist attacks in Paris, November 2015.
Okay.
Because I don't know why, but terrorist attacks make things not happen.
That's true.
Gail attempts to feed Mr. Business pussyfish, the brand of cat food that Andy and Ollie Pesto bring from home in synchronized swimming.
Okay.
This is the first episode, Thanksgiving special, where Bob is not shown shopping for a turkey. He already has his turkey.
That's true, he does.
And do you want to hear the stores that are seen in this episode as they are trekking back to the Belcher home?
Yes, please.
Some strings attached, guitar repair.
Okay.
Some Like It Pop, old-timey soda shop.
Like it.
And Big Girls Don't Cry, dry cleaners.
Nice.
And I just want to start with, yes, Linda in another Thanksgiving song.
Still not as catchy as the one from the fish odor episode.
I don't think there's ever one as catchy as that. Because this one,
No.
It's Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is for everybody, except for Europeans. And what the other one is, pass the cranberry
sauce. We're having mashed
and
potatoes.
mashed potatoes. So what did you think?
I like this one. I did pull out some notes, some lines, I should say. I would kiss Thanksgiving. Its kiss would be salty and delicious, like a mermaid.
We have a theme.
Well, a theme this week, yeah. Gail, nothing is going to happen between us. Not with that attitude, it won't.
I love Gail.
And then this was more my comment or my commentary on the episode. And those are the two lines that I wrote down. But when they decided that he was gonna pull her in the kiddie pool, I was like, was this the idiot Iditarod?
I wrote down, Mom, quit poking the poultry. You're gonna let all the air out. That was Louise.
That was a
And
good
then
one.
you have to love Bob's Star Wars reference when he says, "Cut me open and sleep inside me."
Yeah.
I
But
love those lines.
his thing with the turkey baster, I was like, I mean, you really can't trust Linda to do this correctly. Something's gonna go
No.
wrong. But I was like, Bob, what is this relationship you have with the turkey baster?
I'm getting a little concerned with Bob's relationship with the turkey baster.
Yeah,
What
same.
what is the word for the relationship that people tend to have with inanimate objects? Because I think we might be slightly off about Bob's sexuality.
Yeah, I think it's objectum sexual is what
I
that word
think
is.
so.
So
He's
like,
bisexual, but for everything.
yes. So yeah, for humans and turkey basters. Oh God.
Things
Welcome to
I
Okay, but
never
did you
thought I'd
know?
say.
Well,
Things I never thought I'd say.
things that we never thought would come out of our mouths.
And here we are. But I did write that. I said Linda's fear of cooking the turkey is so real. Bob is the cook of the family. Like, she cooks some
Yeah,
meals and gives him a break, but it's
but
very
not
obvious. Bob loves his Thanksgiving dinner.
and like turkey, like especially if you're very particular about how you want it
Mm-hmm.
cooked and everything, like it's very hard, even with someone's instructions, to get it to where you think that you'll get it right or like that they'll think is done correctly because like it's hard to. I mean, I've never attempted it. I have never roasted a full chicken. I I'm
Ooh,
terrified.
so I like roasting chicken. It's a great thing to do because you can use the bones for stock. Make your own
Hmm.
stock. I actually
Yeah,
have a carcass in my freezer right now for
nice.
when because I don't want to just use one set. I want a
Hmm.
second one. I love roasting chickens, but the one time I actually had to cook the turkey because usually we're Southern. We fry our turkey. My dad, like, we have like a small basketball half court on our backyard.
Hmm.
My dad sets up the deep fryer out
Hmm.
there. They set the hose up, everything. At least my family does it safely. Thank
That's
goodness.
important.
Like, we at least follow the safety guidelines. Like, yes, we fry our turkey, but everything is in place so that if something happens, we're set. And yes, I know, like, the hose is there in case something on the yard catches fire, not the
Yeah.
fryer itself.
No,
Do not
exactly.
mix grease, oil, cooking oil,
With
and
water.
water
No,
ever. But also, they're
absolutely not.
outside if they're dumb enough to do that.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I liked the good like on Good Eats. His thing of like how to safely do it was like he created a pulley system with a ladder.
Yes,
Like that's a good way to do it, but obviously not everyone wants to create a pulley system with a ladder.
exactly. But the one year, which was two years ago, everyone got sick on Thanksgiving. So my grandmother and my mother were sick and couldn't come. I think my sister got sick too. So only my brother, my sister-in-law, my dad, and my brother, like in law, like my sister-in-law's brother also
Gotcha.
came over. My dad didn't realize until like most of Thanksgiving dinner was made by me, by
Hmm.
myself, that he had a hole in his his deep fry pan.
Oh
You can't fry the turkey if there's a hole in it.
no, you cannot.
Next thing I know, someone's running to the store to get me a roast pan big enough for this huge ass turkey that only like 6 people are going to eat instead
Mm,
of the almost 10.
yeah.
And at this point, I was drinking at the time. My sister-in-law's brother, I love him dearly, brought out his very expensive whiskey he brought along with him. I had already finished almost every single side dish and had just started the turkey. I Googled it, did it real quick. That
Hmm.
turkey was amazing. I will say,
That's
I
good.
learned how to fry a turkey on the fly, and it was crispy. It was delicious.
Hmm.
I don't know how the night ended because I ended that night very drunk.
That's my thing with Thanksgiving is I forget that alcohol has alcohol in it.
Yeah, for me, it was just like I was just so frustrated because it's like, love you, Dad. Check your pan days before Thanksgiving,
Yes.
please. So last year, he literally calls me like a good like 2 weeks before Thanksgiving and says, "I just bought a brand new deep
Nice.
fryer, and it is stainless steel."
That's good.
I was like, thank you. Please don't make me do that
No.
again. I still have the roast pan that I've only used like once or
Mhm.
twice since getting it because I now prefer my Dutch oven to roast in than the actual
That's
pan.
fair.
Because like if you get a certain size chicken,
Uh-huh.
you can do that like into your cast iron Dutch oven if it's big
Mhm.
enough. I have a Lodge Dutch oven that I absolutely adore. Um, I actually highly recommend learning how to roast a chicken because you that way you can learn how to cut it if you want to. You can learn how to spatchcock it. There's so many things you can make out of it, and then I mean, for you alone, if you were to like actually do your own roast chicken just for yourself, you've got 4 or 5 different cuts of
Yeah.
meat that you can eat over a week. And some places where I live, you can get a full chicken for like five
Yeah.
bucks.
That's not too expensive. I love that
That's
for
not too
once the
expensive.
cooking lessons coming from the actual cook of the podcast and not from me.
Thank you. I
Considering
appreciate
like
that.
most of like the recipes that have been shared on this podcast are mine for some reason.
I know, right? Like this is the first time we're like Katie's got
Yeah, Katie knows
lessons.
what she's doing.
Um,
Lauren has learned that she knows how to use a knife properly. And can
I've been cooking from scratch for
I
years
can make
now.
food that doesn't kill me, that tastes good. Um,
You're a
I am
cook
a
then.
cook. I
You are
can
a
feed
cook.
myself. I made japchae today. It was delicious.
Which is funny. I need to choose the next recipes that I'm going to share on my
Hmm.
Patreon because if anybody doesn't know, if you're in a certain tier, you get
Hmm.
recipes from me that I've make. A lot of I'm actually it's a lot of baking so far.
Separate from the podcast Patreon.
Oh yeah, my personal Patreon for like books and recipes and other things that I
Hmm.
do, the dragon stuff more so than anything. But I love cooking so much. I was like, I have recipes to
Yeah.
offer. I've got things to talk about. I'm sitting here looking at like some other recipes I've got from like the
Hmm.
Farmer's Almanac recipes that my grandma gave me that I'm so excited
Hmm. Oh,
for.
nice.
They're just like little recipe booklets. Like I have a whole bookshelf that's not behind me. It's actually in my dining
Hmm.
room that has cookbooks. I don't know what I'm gonna share next. I need to stop sharing just baking recipes because I do cook. I don't just bake. Baking's easy
You just follow. You
to
just
like.
follow the instructions.
Exactly. Cooking, I'm just like I go to sometimes write recipes for different meals that I make because I make a lot of southern
Hmm.
things. I do. I can make you biscuits and gravy with, sausage gravy and everything without looking at a
Hmm.
recipe. I use canned biscuits a lot, but like I know how to make
Yeah,
these things from scratch and it's the most delicious meal you'll probably ever eat.
I would believe that.
I just when writing out a recipe, I'm just like, oh wait, I don't know how much butter I used. I don't know. Wait, how much of this? Like, I don't
You use
remember because it's usually
enough. That's the thing is like
because
I was writing
yeah.
down a recipe for mandelbread, which is more or less
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like Jewish biscotti is the best way I can describe it. It's a dessert
Ooh.
that it's a dessert that gets made around Passover because it's used making it's made using matzah meal. So my grandma would make this around Passover.
Okay.
And for a project in high school for my Spanish class, we had to translate a recipe to learn like commands and stuff like that. So I had to ask her like,
Mm-hmm.
how much of this do you put in? How much of that do you put in? How long does it go in the oven for?
Oh
And she was just like,
no.
well, depending on the size of the eggs, you put in so much. I'm like, I need specifics. And I was like, how long does it go in the oven? She's like, well, you just gotta cook it till it's done. I'm like, she's not gonna let me say cook it till it's done.
I love that your Jewish grandmother and like Southern cooking align on that. You cook it till it's
Yeah.
done. You add however much, like, because like the size of the egg is definitely a
Yeah.
thing, like with baking
Mm-hmm.
and with different things they're cooking. Because like I think if I'm eyeballing it, I would say like let's just use the gravy recipe because it's like the easiest fucking
Mm-hmm.
thing to make in existence. It's a few tablespoons of butter, so it's actually technically about a third of a cup of butter, third of a cup of flour to make your
Yeah.
roux. Season your flour first. Like if you actually like put your flour in a bowl and season it real
Mm-hmm.
quick, you don't have to worry about seasoning your
Nice.
pan. You can literally just
Mm-hmm.
chuck the flour in, stir it with a
Yeah.
fork. And that's when you start. And once the roux is done, you start adding about 2 cups of
Mm-hmm.
milk. But it's not always 2 cups
No,
of
it's
milk. It's how thick you want your gravy.
exactly.
And then, of course, lots of pepper because it's peppered
Yeah.
gravy. And that's how easy gravy is,
Mm-hmm.
though. Like, I understand people who want packets for ease, but if you've never made homemade gravy, I highly recommend it. I make mine in my cast iron pan that you know what? I think I understand Bob's relationship with his turkey baster now. I have a very specific relationship with my cast iron pan that I care for greatly.
Uh-huh.
I take it back. I'm sorry, Bob. I understand. Now I cuss at mine though when I can't get like things to come
Mm-hmm.
off from like cooking in it, but
Yeah.
nope, fuck. I take it back.
So
Between my Dutch oven and my cast iron pan, like, I love them.
so back to Bob's Burgers. It's okay.
Sorry.
No, but we do this
Food.
every time. Um, because so much with the kids messing up the sides. Like the mashed
Yes.
potatoes,
Oh
the
God.
hot fudge potato sundae is disgusting. Just first of all, that's disgusting. My thing with the green bean casserole thing that he added the jelly beans and stuff too. It's so not hard. It's literally on the back of the can of either the French's fried onions or even sometimes on the back of the can of cream of mushroom soup. It is.
Yep.
I hesitate to say that that green bean casserole is foolproof, but it is foolproof.
It's foolproof. I personally love it too. Like my husband hates green beans, so I never make it. I'm making it this year.
It's my
I
favorite.
love green bean casserole. It's one of my favorites.
Like if I can make it and it comes out fine, my marker of the food that I'm like it
Hmm.
tastes like not like food that I or has it I phrase it like it tastes like I didn't cook it is what I say when something tastes good.
Which is funny though, because like you've been
A
cooking.
lot,
We've been friends for a few
yeah,
years now, and you've been sharing more recipes with me and things you've been cooking and everything, and I love it every time I see it. And I'm like, okay,
yeah.
recipe,
Because like the stuff, I
please.
mean, I can
So
follow a recipe, but it's like with like the
mhm.
HelloFresh.
That's
That's step
step
one. Well,
one.
the HelloFresh stuff, like they make the HelloFresh stuff as easy as possible, and for a while that was great, and after a while it stopped being worth the price because that's just how life is. But it did what I wanted it to, where it got me out of my comfort zone. It got me to try cooking new things, got me trying new
Hmm.
like new techniques and stuff. And now that I've built up that skill set, I can just buy the ingredients myself.
I did really enjoy the kids trying though, because they tried to make
Yeah,
everything their own, and of course Tina's kind of sitting there trying her best to help mom, but then at the end she's like, "I microwavable spring rolls. I saved
she did.
Thanksgiving."
But
At that point, order Chinese,
right,
man.
why did Linda try turning the turkey inside the roasting pan? Why didn't she just turn the pan?
It was painful to
Like,
watch
why are
that,
you
man.
trying to turn it by the legs?
That just proves so much how Linda does not understand
Like,
the
you just
turkey
take it out and you
at all.
spin it and you put it back in. It's like,
If your oven's big enough, you can literally just turn the
yeah.
pan on the
Her going to like,
rack.
oh, I hate this oven. Like, that is very relatable.
No, everybody's oven is
Yeah.
different. I've figured mine
Okay.
out, thank goodness. But I've tried to like cook at my grandma's before, and she's got a nicer oven
hmm
than me. Dude, the thing preheats so fast. I gotta wait like 15 minutes for
Yeah,
mine to
same.
preheat. Hers is like
Jeez.
5 minutes. I'll hit preheat, and then next thing I know, it's beeping after I've sat down waiting for it to preheat. And I'm like, Grandma,
Yeah.
what the hell? How you got a better oven than me?
So,
She's
that's
learned
true.
it.
Before this, so did we see Gail and Mr. Frond get together? Have we seen that?
Okay, I have an
Okay, because I
explanation
was
for
like, that came
this.
out of nowhere.
I know it's
Yeah.
confusing because of the holiday
Uh huh.
situation. The next episode is called The Cook, the Steve, the Gale, and Her
Okay.
Lover. In this episode, we find out Gail is dating Mr. Frond.
Okay.
They had to switch the order of the episodes so that this one came out for Thanksgiving.
They didn't think that would be a
So
problem?
technically, I know, because I was wondering if you would pick up on that. I wasn't going to bring it up if you didn't because it's the next
Gotcha.
episode. I was I didn't know what was going to
hmm
happen there. I was like, I'm just not going to mention this and see what happens. So they did flip those around. Yeah, we find out in the next episode that suddenly Gail is dating Mr.
Okay.
Frond. Her actually calling him Mr. Frond makes me feel icky
Yeah, like
inside.
she doesn't call him Philip. She's
But I feel like with the cast of the show, at some point, yeah, Gail and Mr. Frond would have had to been an
yeah,
interest because it's Gail
that
and
makes sense
Frond. So yes, they technically yes, they're dating for
for
now.
now. I would.
It's
Yeah,
Gail,
I was
man.
angry that she lied about her ankle injury.
I was too. Gail, what are you doing? Like, it's because she wants
Yeah, well, yeah,
attention.
that's exactly what she said. She's like, "Yes, I faked." Like, no, I faked it for attention. Oh wait,
That's
that's Gail for you.
Gail. But like Bob's still giving in, and like he's allergic to the cats, but he's always doing such sweet things when it comes to the
Yeah.
cats, especially Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Business. Like, I can't tell you the other names of the other cats because they mainly focus on Mr.
Fair.
Business. But him actually scatting
Yes.
to get the cat out
Yes.
of the
Scat
tree.
so the cat will attack you. That makes perfect sense.
Cat that likes cats. That makes
Mm-hmm.
perfect sense. So what did you rate
So this one
this?
got a 9 for plot. It was enjoyable. It was chaos. I really liked it.
Okay.
It got an 8 for character. I was annoyed that she lied. I mean, I know, again, that's the point of the episode, but it got an 8 for character. A, because Gayle lied, and B, because Linda turned the bird by the legs. I was like, why? Just why?
See, you're a cook, you know.
I know enough to not try and turn the thing in the pan.
One day we'll get to cook together, and it'll be the most fun ever.
And I gave it an 8 for personal. It was an enjoyable episode. Okay. So this gets a 25.
That is not bad. I gave plot 8, character 9. I gave personal 10 just because I just enjoy the chaos. Bob and Gayle have such an interesting relationship, and like now actually being married and having brothers and sisters-in-laws, like I get it. None of my like my brother and sister-in-law are not like Gayle in any form. I get along with them both pretty well. I think I get along with them better than I do my siblings.
Yeah, I feel like that happens
makes
sometimes.
Sense. That does happen sometimes. Like I love my brother, if he would never is going to listen to this. But I definitely like his wife more than him. Look, he bullied me growing up. He was the big brother that tortures you. There. She's sweet. There's history there. She's sweet to me. So yeah, mine's a 27 though.
Did they ever actually get to eat their own Thanksgiving dinner? I feel like the answer is usually no.
Yes. They do finally get to eat eventually. Like I've noticed, like they kind of keep going through shit where they don't get to eat their own dinner. Because you had when they went over to the fish owners. And then oh god, how many Thanksgiving episodes have we had? Hold on, I can.
There's the one where Tina kept wanting to sit at the adult table, because that was the one where Bob was was sleepwalking and putting the turkey in the toilet because of the allergy medication.
Yes, because the indecent Thanksgiving proposal.
Oh, the turkey trot was the other one.
Turkey in a can is when the one you just mentioned. Dawn of the Peck, the turkey trot one. Run. And then this is now our next one, Gayle Makin Bob Sled. And just for fun, the next Thanksgiving episode for season 7 is called the Quirk-Deucers.
Okay.
I don't know what
Neither do I. That sounds like a Back to the Future reference.
It's not. That episode is
it's
we'll
get to season 7.
It's a time. It's a time.
We'll get there. It'll be fine. But yeah, it's like, well, because at this point I was like, is this finally the one where Bob doesn't go crazy? But he does a little go crazy just because he eventually just kind of gives into the freezing to death situation.
There's definitely one Thanksgiving episode that I really love. I'm not going to say which one it is, where he finally just gets mostly of everything he wants. And it's really sweet. It's really funny. And it all centers around cranberries.
Okay, then.
Because being Bob... It's Thanksgiving. That man and Thanksgiving. It must have been something. I don't think they've ever really spoken it on too much, but my assumption is like his mom really loves Thanksgiving.
Probably.
And so,
that makes sense.
One of those things. The more and more you find out about his mom, the more sad you get. Because there's other episodes that they really start to include like the history with his mom more, and you're just kind of like, okay, the cartoon's making me cry. I was going to say,
is this animated show going to make me cry?
Yes. Multiple times. Like there are a few episodes that I'm just like, okay, y'all are killing me here. Please stop making me cry at cartoons. But there's other cartoons that have made you cry, I'm sure.
Probably. I cry at mostly animated movies, not TV shows.
That's fair.
Like Inside Out had me sobbing. Frozen 2.
Steven Universe gets interesting. Frozen 2.
Frozen 2. Oh my god, Frozen 2. At the same points every time too. It was because I can tell you exactly one of the times I started crying is in Show Yourself, when she realizes that it's her mom and she says mother. At that point I'm just gone.
It kills me every time. Anything mom related to, like there's an episode of Bob that's very Linda centered. Because we see, so you know how we see so much with Bob and the kids. Usually when it's Linda and the kids, it's either something cute like the one we saw where they got to see all the different places that she connects with them in, and of various. And then you have the other episodes where she's very combative with the children because she's mom. That's a very true thing we deal with as mothers. Our children we are their safe space, so they're very combative with us. But then there's like another episode we get to where it's like a heart to heart with Linda and
Mm-hmm.
children. And I cry like a baby when that episode comes
No.
on because I watch this
Oh yeah.
constantly. I cry like a freaking baby and I can't help it.
I look forward to have one. Yeah, I look forward to having Once Upon a Time make you cry because
Oh, that's
it's
happening
gonna
soon.
happen soon. And because like here's the thing, I cry at that episode, but I also cry at the mid-season finale every time. Like I've been watching.
Still?
Okay, just very quick story time. Then we can end the episode. With that one, the very first time it aired, I knew there would be more episodes. Obviously, the show wasn't over, but it had ended in a way.
Mm-hmm.
It ends in a way that for a while I've been assuming the show of Once Upon a Time would end. So it was a very
Oh.
emotional way the show ended. But I was crying so hard. At that point I would talk to my mom every Sunday after I watched Once Upon a Time, just
Mm-hmm.
like at like 9 o'clock or whatever. And I was still crying. I forgot to call her, so she called me like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine. The show just made me cry." She's like, "Okay, you're fine." I love her, but
I love that
she's like,
though.
"Okay, good to know you're okay." Like I'm fine. I'm just emotionally
That's
damaged.
a mom thing. Emotional damage.
Emotional damage. Thank you all for listening. Join us next time when we discuss Once Upon a Time, episode 307, Dark Hollow. Don't forget to like, rate, and follow the podcast wherever you listen so you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us at OBDYK_pod on Instagram and TikTok. And if you'd like to join our Patreon, you can find the link with more details in our show notes.
This has been an episode of Okay, But Did You Know? A TV and media podcast. It was hosted by Katie and Lauren and edited by Katie.